Howdy, everyone. My name is Miranda Craig. I was born and raised in Central Florida. My hometown is in Sumter County, Florida, which is just essentially in the center of the center. You couldn't really get more inland during this past hurricane, but everyone's safe, and so that's where I'm from. I completed my bachelor's at the University of Florida in the College of Agricultural and Life Sciences. I was a major in agricultural education and communication with a specialization in communications and leadership development. And then I also completed a focus in ag and natural resources, policy, and ethics. Um, After I graduated from the University of Florida, I did an internship in South Dakota for the second summer in a row, working with some ranchers out there and with their South Dakota Department of Agriculture. And that led me to deciding to go to grad school at Texas A&M. So, whoop! I'm currently pursuing a Master's of Agriculture in Alec. Right now, I'm doing it from a distance from Denver, Colorado. I just started working at the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, managing the membership relations and then also the affiliate services relations. So, the companies that contribute a large portion towards supporting the National Cattlemen's Beef Association and its efforts. Um, Outside of work and school, I really enjoy hiking, so I think it's kind of ironic that I ended up in Denver, Colorado, just 30 minutes from the Rocky Mountains. I really enjoy getting outside, looking for a view and getting some exercise in at the same time. Like any 23-year-old young lady, I enjoy spending time with friends, checking out new restaurants, and kind of a bit of a foodie. I enjoy cooking and then also shopping and trying to expand not only my professional network but my social network as well. So, some of the things that could have led me to risky behavior as a youth are listed on this slide. First, just to be completely transparent, my parents divorced when I was very young, before I even started grade school, and my dad raised my brother and I as a single dad our entire lives. Um, so that definitely could have created opportunity for emotional instability, instability in the home, whether it be where you live or if you go back and forth with custody. My mother was not in the picture a lot, and so that created the opportunity for my dad to have us all the time and really ensure that we had what we needed all the time. We're in a stable home, um, and I was raised, on the Christian values my dad was raised on, and so I'm very fortunate that I was granted such an awesome dad that was able to effectively be dad and Mr. Mom, and I'll forever look up to him for the sacrifices he made for my brother and I. I come from upper middle class. Socioeconomic status has been shown to affect, the likelihood of a youth engaging in at-risk behaviors. And so my dad's in the agricultural equipment industry, and just like anything in agriculture, values and assets fluctuate regularly. And so there were very good years, and then there were tougher years. But that's something that taught me a lot of lessons about, managing your assets and things like that. My hometown is not small by small town Texas standards, but it's small by Florida standards. I graduated with about 150 students in my high school class. And I remember, if you're from a small town, you can probably relate, but I went to parties in high school, and it involved a big fire and a bunch of pickup trucks and a cow pasture. And with that, people, they smoked marijuana or they got drunk underage, and I would be lying if I said that I never had a drink in high school at one of those parties. Luckily, I have a good enough head on my shoulders that nothing bad ever happened, or I didn't overindulge. But there's a lack of entertainment in small communities. You have to drive 45 minutes for a movie theater or a bowling alley, and in high school, you don't always have the income to do that or the means of transportation. And so, definitely could have lent to my involvement in those risky behaviors that I had mentioned. I'm proud to say that I abstained from them a great deal and made the right decisions, that I didn't get involved with that. And then the last experience that I can recall would be not feeling challenged academically in high school and middle school. I went to public school, and I'm very proud of my high school and my education there. Um, but we were not one of the more privileged schools in the county. There are charter schools and private schools in the North End, but we lived in the South End. And I remember, being bored sometimes, or because I was bored, not putting forth all the effort I probably should have. I always had good grades, but I was never a straight A student. And reflecting back on that, maybe that was because I didn't feel like the curriculum was rigorous enough for me to give it, my full attention. And so I distracted myself with extracurricular activities, which you'll see on the next slide. But I very easily could have, partook in activities like skipping school or coming late or not doing my homework. And so that lack of a challenge when it comes to the curricula that was provided definitely could have presented some less than desirable opportunities. Some of the experiences I went through that probably prevented me from turning to those less than desirable behaviors of some of my peers included immersion in extracurricular activities, involvement with my youth church group, maintaining a close and transparent relationship with the elders in my family, including my dad, and surrounding myself with like-minded friends. I was extremely active in the South Central FFA. I credit it and the relationships it brought me a great deal to who I am as a young woman and also my professionalism, and I will forever be thankful for the community that the FFA has provided for me. I also cheered all through school, so from 6th grade to 12th grade, I was always on a cheerleading squad for my school, and I had the opportunity to lead them several years as captain, and so I was able to not only do something I enjoyed in cheering on my home team, but also kind of strengthen my leadership skills before I even knew that they existed. And so lending creativity to a squad and then also kind of helping to steer them towards a common goal was really, really rewarding for me. And some of those nights, sounds cliche, but under those lights at Raider Field, they really do mean a great deal to me, and I'll forever cherish them. I also stayed involved with my church group, and I think that was a great way to remain grounded and true to the values that I was raised in, and to not waver too much from what I was taught was right and wrong. And so through that, surrounding myself with girlfriends who were sisters in Christ with me, who kept me accountable and I kept them accountable, I think really helped in creating that sense of community away from the drinking or the drugs that other high schoolers may have been partaking in. And then I remain close to my grandparents, who I look to as guiders, I guess, or when I am seeking wisdom, whether it be in my faith or in my social life or in my life decisions, I look up to them. And so maintaining a close relationship with them and my dad, and being transparent and honest all the time, I think really created a sense of support. And so we know that that's important to a youth to feel supported in such a trying time of life. And so those were some of the things looking back that I would deem as preventative, and things that probably kept me out of trouble, and things that I'm so grateful to have experienced.